I have got my pumpkin cup at the ready, and I don't care if it's too early anymore. I don't care. It's raining outside, like it is chucking it down, and I wanted to have the coziest morning, which is what I'm having. It's also cold, which has made me very happy because I've even been able to put the fire on. So I thought, I don't care if it's early. I'm having a cozy autumn morning today. This is the start of my autumn morning routine. So the start of this year, I mentioned that I had had slower mornings in the autumn winter, and it worked really well for me. I kind of hibernated instead of doing the whole like 5 a.m. club, which didn't work for me because then I would crash. Like come the afternoon, I would have no energy and I couldn't get stuff done. Whereas when I was having slower mornings, I was getting more done. But I love romanticising my mornings. I don't care if it means having to wake up early so that I can have a slow morning, or if it means waiting until Sheba wakes me up, which is normally about 7 o'clock, and then having a slow morning. But I will take a good hour to myself just to like chill. I try not to disturb her too much because then she will sleep and not nag me for a walk. And look at her. She's currently there, snoozing away, no cares in the world, nice and cozy by the fire. So yeah, normally I would make my coffee and I would like read a book or do some editing so that I'm ahead if I haven't edited the night before. But today I was like, no, I want to watch something. I'm trying to get into Gilmore Girls. I don't know why I struggle. I don't know why. As a person, I do struggle getting into things and watching things in general, unless they're cartoons, which is crazy. But I don't have a great attention span. I'm trying to get into it this year because I do want a good cozy watch that's not necessarily a film. Anyway, this morning routine is going to be really, really similar to the summer one I did because I do exactly the same in the morning routine, only I'm now going to be starting to romanticise my mornings, and as soon as autumn decor comes, you best believe my house is going to be decorated soon. Next couple of weeks, my house is getting decorated because it's only autumn once every year. I didn't do a morning routine last autumn winter because I felt like I just enjoyed a slower morning, so it wasn't your typical up at 5 a.m. club motivational one, and in all honesty with you, I've carried that on throughout the summer. I am no longer a 5 a.m. 6 a.m. productive morning girly. However, if you have to be at work at a certain time or get stuff done at a certain time, or you are a morning person, personally I just work better at night. It's something that I've noticed about myself. So for those of you who've never seen me before, hi, I'm Cara. I post about business and mindset and fashion, and autumn is my favourite time of year. If I had an alarm, would I be someone who clicks snooze? I probably would, yes. My dog does wake me up about 7 o'clock, but getting up first thing in the morning does not affect how much money you make, how successful you are, how productive you are. In my personal opinion, when I was getting up at 5, 6 in the morning, I needed an afternoon nap. I was exhausted. So just make your routine work for you. That's going to be the first thing I actually say, because I feel like a lot of people as well fake an early morning routine just for the sake of making content. But I think it's really toxic because it makes people feel like failures if they can't get up and get going at 6 a.m. Apparently it takes us 90 minutes to even wake up in the first place. So the first thing I do is make my bed. I think making your bed is so important. I know people say they're getting back into it, but keeping a clean space, a clean house, and making your bed stops my mind from feeling cluttered. Just had a post delivery, that's why my dog's going mad. Nothing worse for me than walking through the hallway and seeing that my bed isn't made. It makes me feel like there's an extra task I have to do. And when you have ADHD, you want to minimise as many tasks as possible because it gets very overwhelming. So I get up, I go and get my dog, I let her out for a wee, I give her a treat, and then I make my morning coffee. I like to exercise of a morning fasted, and I try to fast for as long as I can in the morning. So I do have a black coffee. I do add sweetener to it, but I don't add sugar. So no milk, no sugar, I just have a black coffee. If I'm due on and I want something more cozy and comforting, then I'll make a cappuccino like I did this week, because that just feels like an extra bit of indulgence for me that I wouldn't normally do. One thing I will say as well is that at certain times of the month, you're going to change your morning routine, because as a woman, we are not on the same cycle as a man. They are very much on a 24-hour cycle. We are on a monthly cycle. There's times where you're going to feel super motivated, you're going to get out of bed easier, and there's times where you're going to struggle and you're going to feel less motivated. You're going to need the extra rest and extra sleep. So I make my coffee and I will either read or I will watch something. Now, I'm not someone who likes to watch TV. I find it very difficult to watch a film or get into TV. So I don't watch TV at night. I tend to work at night till late at night. But in the morning, because my brain hasn't switched on yet, I find this the best time for me to actually get TV and time in. So I live my day kind of the opposite to normal people. But I also don't have children and I don't have a partner. So I feel like this is easier for me to do because I don't have to be finished work at a certain time. Now, if I didn't do that and I jumped straight into going to the gym or straight into work, my entire day would be full of work. I would never have any downtime. That's because I get going, and when I get going, I find it hard to stop. And I can end up editing and working until very late at night if I don't stop myself. In the autumn winter, I tend to finish work earlier because, let's be honest, we all want to go to bed at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon because it's exhausting. So we also have to remember that autumn winter is a time where everything hibernates, including ourselves. So resting more in the autumn and in the winter is definitely favourable so that you can maintain the energy to then continue growing throughout the year without burnout, and then to restart next year with a whole new fresh energy. Now, I don't stay watching TV for hours, don't get me wrong, but I do give myself a little sit down. I keep the curtains shut so that my dog doesn't nag me to go for a because we all know that is a forbidden word if you own a dog. You never say that word. You never even think it. Don't think it. If you think it, they know, they shoot up, they start crying and they demand it that second. So I like to have that slow little moment to myself, drinking my coffee and reading my book, or drinking my coffee and watching something. And sometimes I have to watch something to even get motivated in the first place. If I'm having the time of month where I don't feel motivated, especially with what I do, because I have to show up in a certain way every day when I film. So there's days where I have to bulk film, like today, a load of outfits, and I might not be in the mood to do that. I think hot girl walks of morning is the most powerful thing you can do to set the tone for your day and for your manifestations moving forward. It helps you to believe in yourself. It helps you to just have a really positive mindset, to keep going, to feel motivated when you don't feel motivated. It can give you daily reminders. You can learn off people. You can hear what works for them. And I started creating my own podcast because I found so much success and joy and inspiration in listening to podcasts of a morning on my W. So if you do need a new podcast to listen to, you can listen to Success and Self-Care. It is my podcast. I release it every single Monday at 6 a.m. because I know that is the worst day of the week where you have to drive to work, because I've been there myself and I used to look for a podcast before 2020 that would motivate me, and it was very difficult to do. And best believe I also listen to my own podcast because I have to listen to it before it gets released, and I don't mind it. So I will do my hot girl and listen to a podcast, and that really sets me up for a good day when I get home, and then I will go straight to the gym. Now, there's certain times of the month where I don't go to the gym, or my body's aching, I'm not feeling like it. If I just generally don't feel like it, I will force myself to go because I think there's nothing better than discipline. If I am due on, even if I'm ovulating, because honestly, I get really bad ovulation pains. I don't deal very well with the ovulation time, actually. I don't think I have the cycle of normal people, because you can kind of track your cycle and these apps will tell you how you're meant to feel when. But for me, I find that I don't feel my best when it tells me I should feel my best. Ovulation for me is as exhausting as being on or being due on. I don't know why that is, but it is. So I'm also slow with myself during that time. Another thing that's really helped me is tracking my cycle on my calendar. If there's days where I feel super motivated or days where I feel super shitty and tired, I will block those on the calendar so that I know in a month's time, when I come round to that time of the month, when I feel those emotions, especially when I feel tired or like I don't have energy and I think, what's wrong with me? I look at the calendar and I think, it's fine, just rest a little more because it's just that time of month. Whereas on the more motivated times of the month, I know I can get as much much work done as possible. For example, last week I did so much work, and the past version of me did all that this future version of me is so grateful for now, because this week I had such a heavy, awful period. Awful. It was so bad. It actually had me on the sofa all day, and if you have been following me for a while, you'll know I don't rest easy. I might need a little charge, but I don't. I can go to the hospital, have a procedure done, I get bored sitting on the sofa, so it takes a lot to wipe me out. But I've come off the pill. It was my first period off the pill, and my God, did it remind me how brutal my periods are off the pill. Let me tell you that. It drained the shit out of me. Back on track. I am kind with myself on those times of the month, and I do have slower mornings, and I do believe that they are what help my success. There are a lot of people that say, get up in the morning at 5 a.m. and you need to do all this stuff in order to be successful, and I don't think we're all the same. I think if I force myself to do something, I get tired, I want to do it less, and I don't get the best work done, and I'm not the most productive. I was the least productive version of myself when I was trying to follow what other people were doing, whereas when I do it to work for me, it motivates me a lot more, because I'm charging my morning full of things that make me feel kind on myself, make me feel motivated, and then it makes me think, right, let's get up and get going, because I get this huge burst of energy. So I tend to get so much more done with my day. Now, a lot of people enjoy working out. I'm not one of those people. And I'm also not one of those people that feels like it benefits my mental health. But I do know that working out is healthy for you. It's good for your body, it's meant to be good for your mind, and it helps you look better. So aesthetically, when I look better, I feel better. And when I've been to the gym, I feel better because I feel like I've achieved a small win for the morning. And I think mornings are all about achieving small wins, because when you achieve small wins, it helps you do the bigger tasks throughout the day. In the summer, I tend to use the sauna less. I think in the autumn winter, it feels a bit more like a luxurious reward. So I do go in the sauna and the steam room. I tend to do it on a hair wash day, so usually around 2 or 3 days a week. I'll put a hair mask in my hair and I will sit in the sauna. Now, I'm aware that's like a luxury and not everyone has that available, but for me that really helps me on my cozy morning routine, because I think if you can romanticize your mornings where you don't want to do things and you can give yourself some kind of reward for them, whether it be lighting a cozy candle or making your favourite drink or reading your favourite book, like doing something in the morning that's going to make you want to get out of bed really helps. And it's the same for going to the gym. If I can feel like, oh, I get to go and have a bit of a pamper, a bit of a spa treatment today by going to the gym, then I'm more motivated to do so. I also sometimes work from the gym, so I can edit in between reps, and I can also edit from the hot tub. So I am in a very fortunate position where I can work from my phone, which is very, very handy. And it's part of the reason why I released the course for you to be able to do it yourself, because it does allow you a slower morning and for you to be able to work your schedule around you depending on how you're feeling at particular times of the month. If you are interested in that, I will link it below for you. So obviously, if you've been following me for a while now, you'll know that my full-time job is a content creator. I'm a full-time TikToker, and you don't need a lot of followers to do this. And what it does allow me is the freedom to take slower mornings and just edit on the go or wherever I am as well. So I feel like I've already started work even though I'm in the gym. So when I get back from the gym, I tend to have my supplements, my greens, my protein, and it depends how I feel, honestly. And this is the time where I'm breaking my fast. So I do like to break my fast with a protein, because I have read research that says that's what you're supposed to do, so that's what I do. And then while I'm eating my food, I have a look at my calendar, and I have already got a day set of the week for every single task. And there is a podcast episode where I talk you through how I actually design my entire calendar around like the astrological meanings of the days of the week, and it just works really well for me. I don't overplan things to do. I have one main task, and I believe in Eat That Frog. If you don't know, it's a book called Eat That Frog. It's about taking the biggest task, getting that done first, and then the little tasks are easy. If you continuously just tick off the small tasks, then you don't get the big task done. So I always like to eat that frog. My big task is the main thing of the day. Now, I might write other things under that for if I do get that big task done, then I can do do those, but I don't overwhelm myself with a list, because I know if I overwhelm myself with a list, I won't even want to get started. So every day for me has a main theme, whether it's a filming day, whether it's an editing day, whether it's an admin day, whether it's a UGC day, whatever it is, I have a set day of the week for it. A lot of my mornings have to start the night before, because if I have got, for example, a clothing, like a fashion UGC, or if I've got an entire day where I have to film fashion content like this, for example, the night before I have to have steamed the clothes, and that can take me 1 to 2 hours. It takes a long time to get through steaming all the clothes, which I don't want it to eat into my day. So a tip I would give you is prep your morning the day before to make it easier, especially if you're someone who does have to wake up when it's early and it's dark and it's cold. If you can get your gym stuff ready and set out ready, so you just grab them, get ready and go, it's going to make your life easier. And honestly, I used to find comfort in that when I had to get up early. I used to quite like warming the car up, so that would force me out of bed because I knew I had to warm the car up, and then I would have my stuff ready, and it just felt like this cozy little routine that I'd got into. And when you do get into a routine, it gets easier and easier. I think the most overwhelming thing of a morning routine is wondering what comes next. So when you're first building your morning routine, try to keep it as simple as possible and build on it from there. Habit stack. Don't just go and jump in with a massive list of things you need to do, because you won't want to do the first one. On a day where I don't have to film, the chances are I will not do my makeup and I won't bother. But most days I do have to do my makeup, which is probably my least favourite thing to do. I don't know why, but for me, I just love a loungy day, especially autumn, winter, where I don't have to get ready. But I'm also aware that if I was to be leaving the house, if I had to go to work or anything like that, getting ready, getting your makeup done, dressing nice completely shifts your energy, and you will feel a lot more powerful, or you'll feel put together, or like achieving your goals. Whereas, let's be honest, a slouchy day does make you feel a little bit shit. So I will do my hair and makeup whilst I'm listening to a podcast or watching a YouTube. So the podcast will be on my TV in the background, and it's normally around female money and mindset. I like to listen to women in business. I find it very motivating, very empowering. The more you can learn and the more you can listen, the more it reminds you of things you might have forgotten about, or it just re-empowers those things into your brain. And I think it's just a really good way for setting you up for the rest of your day, especially if you are in business, because sometimes you don't have the motivation, and literally just listening to something as you're getting ready gives you that motivation you need to be like, right, let's get up and get going. But right now, this is what works for me, and I hope it can motivate you. I hope it can help you in some kind of way. I hope you're feeling all the cozy feels, and if you're not subscribed yet, then subscribe to my channel and join us on a very cozy autumn winter. Thank you so much for watching, and I will be back next week for our usual vlog.